Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to episode number 27 in our Allied Let's Play series in War on the Sea, a new game out by Killerfish Game, the developers of Cold Waters and Atlantic Fleet. In this series we're playing as the Allies in the Guadalcanal campaign, and we are not doing so great. We are withdrawing from Guadalcanal. That's the long run, long story short. The objective in this episode is to get a task force with a large number of anti-aircraft cruisers of the Atlanta class north to Guadalcanal so they can withdraw the 1,900 or so Marines that we have left on the island with no supply. The reason we're pulling them out, well, the Japanese, or the AI in general in this game, has absolutely no limits on the number of troops they have. A human player gets limited with a particular number of soldiers every month, a particular number of supply, engineers, fuel, things that you need to build up bases, to build bigger airfields, and to obviously fight enemy soldiers. Now, the AI has no real feasible limitation on any of those things. They do have a limited number of ships. They only get the historical ships that nation had. But they basically just kind of keep being able to build more ships and throw more troops out there until they either run out of the ships because all of their ship classes get sunk, or you take the objectives that you're supposed to take. So the game seems to kind of evolve into, we haven't really gotten there yet in our game, but based on my reading, it seems that the game will eventually evolve into a situation where the AI keeps throwing sort of unescorted convoys at you, or convoys with just destroyer escorts, because that's all they have left, which feels like it could get a little bit spammy, and it kind of is the direction this game feels like it's gone. The reason I'm saying that is the Japanese have made amphibious landings at Milne Bay with over 6,000 soldiers, Port Moresby with probably over 10,000 soldiers, Santa Cruz Island, I believe, as well, with over 6,000 soldiers, while also having over 10,000 soldiers on Guadalcanal. And those numbers just, they don't work out, at least if you compare them with what the human player has. That being said, I do enjoy this game quite a lot. I'm just sort of expressing things that I think any player should be aware of if they're getting at the game. But in any event, the purpose of this mission, to compensate for the fact that we're dealing with those realities of how you have to play the AI, we have adopted a new strategy, and that strategy is to pull all of our troops out of Guadalcanal, don't reinforce Port Moresby, let Port Moresby and Santa Cruz fall, but then reinforce Milne Bay, where we already have over 3,600 troops, and hold that base, destroy the Japanese force there, then, after you win there, pull those troops out, counterattack at either Port Moresby or Guadalcanal, and rinse and repeat until we've isolated and destroyed individual bases that fall to the Japanese. While we're doing that, we will have to set up naval forces to screen those bases to ensure that Japan can't land new forces on other islands that we currently control. So we basically have to set up a barrier defense with shipping that we now have plenty of because we've destroyed so many Japanese ships, and we'll probably get more of as we destroy more Japanese ships. But we have to set up sort of barriers to the Japanese advance to prevent them from landing on more islands while we slowly and methodically roll their advance back with localized counterattacks. And in today's episode, we are going to be trying to push some of our ships north to Guadalcanal to pull out the remnants of our first landing there to focus them on Milne Bay. Before we get in, because we've been going for almost 5 minutes now, before we get in, all of this footage, all of this content outside of this intro was taken from a Twitch live stream that was done on my Twitch channel. You can check out a link in the description if you're interested in following me over there. We actually just got partnered over on Twitch. That's pretty awesome. It's actually pretty difficult to be a partner on Twitch. You've got to average like 75 plus viewers at all times essentially on your streams. So we've had a pretty good couple of months, and an invite was extended to me for that. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you everybody if you already watch over there for your support. It's a pretty good time. I think you hear that in these episodes. But with that being said, let's just jump right back into it. All right, but with that being said, let's jump back into the live stream. You're witnessing the very end of an air battle with a Japanese attack on a cruiser task force that we had sent north to bombard Guadalcanal to make the airfield less potent so we could more easily get our ships in there, and that's where we're going to be joining the stream. At the start of the war in existence, in the world, maybe. All right. 7 enemy aircraft shot down. We did suffer some minor damage. Not from the Vals, though. All and the shoe. The bombs that were used, well, some of the bombs that were used, not all of them, but some of the enemy bombs used at Pearl were converted 16-inch naval shells. They were dropped by level bombing Kates, their torpedo bomber. And one of those is what destroyed the Arizona. Okay. Where is this enemy task force? Like, where did they go? They're merchant ships. They should be slow. Kate was used mostly for level bombing. I don't think that's true, J Street. I mean, the Kate was used for torpedo bombing against ships anytime they faced them. I have to fight another battle here? Well, if we just shot down all their dive bombers, I'm assuming this is just going to be zeros that we're going to be up against in this flight. Unless it's enemy surface ships or something. But I've got no 8-inch shells to fling at them, so... Thank you for the follow, Perforated Penguin. Appreciate the support. I hear the exciting music. So far I see nothing. Is another cruiser float plane? No, it's not. Did I have a surface engagement? No, I used everything in the naval bombardment, apparently. Well, so we had a surface engagement before we did the naval bombardment. So yes, but not... It was the surface engagement at the end of the last stream against that enemy cargo task force, and then the naval bombardment 3 times at Guadalcanal. Not sure why we're here. No torpedoes that I can see. Just one enemy float plane. Will these guys attack it on their own? Or do I have to stop the countdown? Yeah, Mara, they usually have shells after they usually have shells after a bombardment, but I fought a surface engagement prior to the bombardment. So I guess this must mean there's a sub and the air triggered it before they got a free shot off. So let's go ahead and turn these guys. No, this is from an enemy submarine, I believe. I don't think the subs get unlimited aircraft. I think they take casualties, just like the Allied guys. Alright, so now that that's gone, I can leave. Where the hell did this convoy go? Alright, I'm gonna pull back because I don't want to risk them sprinting around me and getting into Milne Bay. What are these guys? They've got 200 nautical mile endurance. You go left. They couldn't have gone far. Milne Bay, you should have air, right? I mean, you don't have that kind of range, but... The fuck did the enemy convoy go? I'm so confused! North, far left of the island? Like over here? Like, where the hell did they go? Hey, Ambien. Glad you found it. Alright, so let's do this. Guadalcanal's still a 2. You think the convoy's pushing east? Oh, fuck, it's dark. Well, they might be going for Moresby, but Moresby's going to fall no matter what. So if they want to drop troops there, I guess that's okay. What I don't want is the C3 to stumble into them in the night. So let's get these aircraft airborne in the as soon as it's daylight. All right, daylight. So, air. Give me some eyes on, boys. There is a battle cooldown timer. There's no doubt about that. But we didn't fight a battle with the enemy units. So there shouldn't be a countdown for, like, not fighting against a particular formation. All right. Those are chaotic scouting patterns. Meanwhile, the cruisers should be back at base. They are, so let's go disperse that force. Thank you for the follow, Blonde James Dean. All right, let's release these guys. Okay, so this task force is moving north, ready to evacuate Guadalcanal. Let's form a new sea task force. We'll do 2 Pensacola's, I think. So 2 heavy cruisers. One Atlanta for some anti-aircraft support. And then a Fletcher. Okay. We're going to try and bombard with these guys. Meanwhile, I have 4 points left. Is that enough for a Tambor? It is. So let's get a Tambor as well. Meanwhile, do we have more supplies yet at New Hebrides yet? No. Alright, so they're holding out for now. Where did this enemy task force go? So I'm very confused. Unless they were pushing way east, unless they for some reason came down here and then we're going east to Guadalcanal, which I suppose is possible. Alright. So these guys, it's almost night, so actually I'm going to push them forward here. It's going to take them 12 hours to get up here. They can't bombard, right? They don't have any heavy cruisers. No. Meanwhile, the troops there, we're down to 1,700 troops. The only bad thing if they're pushing to Guadalcanal really is just that I'm trying to keep the airfield down. I just don't know where they could have gone unless they did an end around. All right, meanwhile, more troops are arriving at Milne. So I think we'll outnumber the enemy when we land these additional reinforcements. I was hoping to engage those guys in a nice little surface brawl. Shoot up another enemy task force. Get me some more points that I can use toward having more, maybe an aircraft carrier or battleship sort of on permanent standby. That was the hope anyway. All right, the bombardment task force is sprinting up that way. No sign of any ships there. All right, so it's nighttime. I don't have B-17s in that area. I can't pull them out. So they haven't gotten any recon on my ships coming around. Although I'm sure immediately on 5:01 we're going to get hit by enemy air attacks. Because that's the way the game likes to do it. They're going to just take off the second it's 5 o'clock. So I'm going to pause instantly at 5 o'clock and get my fighters up for Rennell as quickly as I can over top of that task force, trying to evacuate the Marines there. All right, 5 o'clock, air operations begin. It's going to take them less than an hour to get there. But that doesn't matter! Yay, dive bombers! 6 minutes and they're airborne already, huh? Well, I guess it's better to do that before... Oh, by the way, they built the airfield back up to 3. Alright, so... What's our task force here? 1, 2, 5. So the merchants are at 2 and 5. The anti-aircraft cruisers are at 3, 4, and 6. I think in this scenario, I'd actually prefer the anti-aircraft cruisers to lead the whole formation and put the destroyer on the flank, assuming we're not dealing with a sub, but I'm pretty sure it's just aircraft. Begin. Oh, the AI gets way more supplies, way more men, way more everything. For a while, I thought the AI was playing by the same rules, but I dug into Steam, and some people are digging into the files and all that shit, and the AI is playing with a stacked deck. And the config files even show it too. All right, so it is pause. So they're coming from behind. So what we're gonna do. All right. Evasive formation seemed like the best strategy. The one reason I'm not doing it yet is I do feel like getting our 5-inchers into the act is going to be worthwhile. I don't want to just abandon the fact that we've got heavy anti-aircraft cruisers, and C3s aren't exactly maneuverable. So we'll see what comes of this. Let's actually turn a bit, get all of our guns into action. Oh, pressing the wrong buttons. Okay. Are these all fighters here? They are. So the enemy dive bombers, there's only 4 of them, and they're in the rear. Meanwhile, they've got 12 fighter aircraft. I'd rather you guys target the dive bombers. The fighters could do some damage on a merchant ship, I suppose, if they strafe. So they are strafing my merchants. Got one of them. But you guys fire at the right target here. So they did strafe this guy. Very minor damage. We're going to have these merchant ships turn as quick as they can. They're already moving at full speed. I don't know how to make sure they target the targets I want them to target, though. Like, these guys are all shooting the wrong way. I don't really care about the enemy fighters. I want these dive bombers. So if I manually tell them to target those aircraft over here, do I have to turn off auto flak fire, or do I want to keep that? Selected units automatically engaging with anti-aircraft flag. Yeah, they're still shooting at the wrong... No, but they're still not shooting at the right target. And I even turned this guy... Well, I don't want him to stop shooting anti-aircraft fire. Well, their bombs are already off, so at least they're not going... Looks like they're going after that cruiser. And why is she only moving at 12 knots? Oh, yeah, because she's in convoy. Well, hopefully they don't hit. They all missed. Hell yeah. Alright. Well, that's good. Alright, so we're shooting down a bunch of enemy aircraft after the fact. But frankly, I'd rather just get out of here now. My Atlantas are far less impressive when they have to shoot at the wrong targets. Shu, I'm not sure if it's a... I don't really know what the victory point system would be in this. It's just you kind of have to take the key bases and hold them. I think the game ends if you get up to level 5 airfield on Guadalcanal as well as holding the other objectives, but it didn't for the Japanese, so I don't know if it doesn't end for the AI and it only ends for the allies or for the human. I'm not sure. I can't fast forward Frenzy. If enemy aircraft are too close, you can't time compress. There we go. Alright, so the enemy lost 3 aircraft, but we suffered more or less no damage. Meanwhile, our fighters are still on the way up there to try and get there. I assume there's still the hour count time. Alright, so our aircraft got there. Still no idea where this enemy task force went, by the way. Alright, let's unload our troops. So Milne Bay, you can see, is about 50-50. Unload these troops. So we're up to 6,000 troops at Milne Bay now. The Battle of Milne Bay. Now it's about 50-50. Alright. Meanwhile, sailors back. But there's no reinforcements yet. There is a ton of grind in this game. That is an absolutely fair comment. It would be much better if you had the option to auto-resolve some of the small air battles or other things like that. Or just, frankly, auto-resolve it all. It's very hotkey-based turbo. So we still didn't pick any enemy vessels up in the Solomon Sea area, so I guess... I don't know. I don't know where they went. Meanwhile, this task force, can we load? I can't load because it's not a friendly port. Oh, that sucks. I should have looked at the rules before I sent these guys up here. Ha! Lol. Well, it gives me the rearm option. Wait, are there troops on here? Why is it unload all? Oh. There we go. Never mind. Mistake. I can. I just have to do it like this. Oh, I should have just sent destroyers to pick him up. That would have been the smart thing to do, rather than risk slow-moving merchant ships. Well, alright. Now you guys are going to go take a 3-day hike out toward Milne Bay. You can go from one crisis zone to another. So we got all our troops out of Guadalcanal. It's just a matter of whether they'll get sunk at sea. Oh, no! 2 light cruisers and 2 destroyers. What do I have with me? We've got 3 light cruisers and 1 destroyer. I don't know how Atlantis fare against Japanese light cruisers. Let's also do this. It doesn't look like I'm being forced into battle yet. Okay, now I'm being forced into battle. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do line ahead. Put the cargo ships at the rear. And then we're just going to peel them off and away. Put the Beale in front. And we'll charge our light cruisers forward, trying to save the cargo ships. It'll be interesting, boys. Alright, this video is a little bit on the shorter end, but we're about to start a pretty lengthy battle, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up here. Hope you guys enjoyed our push north. We did just get our troops loaded onto our cargo ships, and now the question is, can we get them out of Guadalcanal safely, or are they going to be intercepted by Japanese aircraft, or more likely, as you're about to see, Japanese shipping? And if they do interdict us with shipping, how do we fare? But we'll figure that out next time. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer once again saying thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.